Hey, Jamly. Pardon my disaster. Sorry, Sarah's playing a video game with a friend. So more sad news today. Early this morning, about roughly 5 a.m., we lost Stevie as well. So we are down to just one kitten. After discussing some stuff with the vet and getting some more information back about the girls, the vet informed us that we will probably lose the entire litter because they are preemies, so they were born too early. Estimating roughly a week too early. They should have definitely not been born yet. When they were born, when we got them, I could fit all 5 babies in one hand. And I knew when she first brought them to me, as soon as I saw how tiny they were, I knew that there was a problem. She was having a lot of trouble getting them to eat. I struggled with 2 of the kittens getting food in them the first 24 hours. One of them, who I did have trouble with, is the only one that's still alive right now, and that's Rigby. Hi, Leslie. So Rigby is our sole surviving kitten right now. But the vet said the other kittens, including Stevie, suffered or developed what they call FKS, fetal or fading kitten syndrome. If you can catch it right at the very first sign, you can attempt to save them. Not much that the vet can do, because these guys were so tiny. There wasn't even a way to get any kind of intravenous fluid, being they were so small. So that wouldn't have even helped, because by the time we would have made it from here to the closest vet, which is 45 minutes from us, it would have already been too late. Hi, Savannah. And so the vet said that we're doing everything correctly. The reason that they developed fading kitten syndrome is, 1, they're premature. 2, hold on, Savannah, I'm explaining it. 2, the formula just doesn't sit right with kittens that young, first of all. So them being 1, being premature, 2, being literally hours old when we got them, that was just never in their favor. So the vet said to do as best I can, even with Rigby, seeing as he's the last one, but that not to hold out too much hope, because he is still premature, and the odds are really just not in his favor. Kittens born early like that don't usually stand a very good chance. We're going to continue doing everything we can for him, though. He is doing really good right now, but then again, all the kittens were doing good right up till they weren't. And the comparison, if you don't understand like what fading kitten syndrome is, the vet explained it as in, it's like the equivalent of SIDS in children, where they're totally fine, you have no issues, and then you wake up to your baby being blue, no longer breathing. Some children can be rescued if found in time, whereas other children die in their sleep. So the first 4 weeks of any kitten's life is extremely sketchy to begin with, even if they are with mama. They have tried to find a nursing mama for these guys before they passed, but the biggest problem we ran into is they are so tiny that putting them in with a litter of normal sized kittens wouldn't fare as well. Rigby is now 5 days old, and like I said, I can't speak for the future, but as of right now, he's doing pretty good. He just finished eating, so I'm watching him right now. What's he doing? What's he doing, Rigby? He's a little wiggle bot, you guys. Okay. Hi. What you doing? You say hi to everybody? Yeah. As you can see, he's very, very tiny. He's 5 days old, and he's just now about the size of a normal birthed kitten. Most newborn kittens are about this size on the day they're born. He just finished eating, so he's just a little bit fussy because he wants to go lay down and go sleep. I know. So I'm not going to keep him out too long. I want to keep him on the heating pad. Where you go, buddy? Where you go, buddy? He likes that heating disc that the vet gave us. The vet gave us this really neat heating disc. I didn't even know these existed. They're called Pet Disc, and it's a disc thing with like a gelatin type stuff inside of it, and you strictly heat it in the microwave, and then it has a cover that goes on it, and then you put that into their bed. He loves it, and where are you going? So right now I'm asking for like all the positive vibes being sent for Rigby. I will not be going to sleep tonight at all. I'm going to be staying up all night with him. The vet said the best thing that I've done so far now is to bump Rigby's feeding straight up to strictly just every 2 hours. Not going to let him sleep it out. Not going to let him go into any stretches, but to continue, even if he's sleeping, wake him up for a feeding every 2 hours. And so that's what I've been doing all day today. And he's been pottying really well. So he's been pottying really good today. He's gone to the bathroom every single feeding. First we were getting him to go like every other feeding. Now he's actually producing a bowel movement. I know that sounds really gross, but a bowel movement every feeding now. So that's a huge plus. He's also strong enough now that he's actually climbing up and over the bed rim that we have in here. Before he couldn't get over the top of it, but now he's actually physically able to take himself over the top. He's become a little more exploratory today. So I've been having to really watch him because his little head is small and he can fit it through the little grates on the cage. So it's just one of those things where all the positive vibes and to continue what I'm doing, which is just really paying very close attention to him, and just all my time right now is like dedicated to him. I spent hours yesterday back and forth trying to with the vet through North Valley Animal Clinic to try to save Stevie. I noticed that Stevie started to become kind of lethargic right about 3 o'clock this morning. He got up and he was just really kind of just not his spunky self. And so he was nice and warm, so that the hypothermia wasn't a problem. I was able to get liquid in him, and he seemed to perk up. I was able to get his feeding in. I got about 3/4 of what he would normally eat, and he perked up pretty good. Was meowing, rummaged around with his brother after eating, and I was like, okay, so he's doing okay. And I stayed up watching him. Checked him a few times. He's still wiggling around in there. Right around like 4-ish, I dozed off because I'd been up all night with him. Oop, the chicken's ready. And so I ended up dozing off and then woke up to a kitten yelping for food, which ended up being Rigby. And when I opened the thing, which was, like I said, this was right around like 5:12 this morning. So about an hour or so after I dozed off, and I reached in to grab Rigby out and realized that I didn't get any reaction from Stevie, and so I picked Stevie up, and he was still breathing, but he was completely listless. Like, he wasn't active, he wasn't like meowing, he wasn't wiggling. So I sat and like rubbed him and worked with him, called the vet. They said, the best you can do is just support him. Try to get him active again. Try to get him moving his body. So I did that, and so for over an hour, I worked on Stevie, and by 6:30ish, he passed right on my chest, and I knew that, like, when he went, he went. So I was super sad. I sat there with him and cried, of course, because you never want that to happen. And it's, a lot of people don't see that part of fostering. Like, a lot of people don't know that there's this really sad side to fostering and the results of people overbreeding or not spaying and neutering, or a young mom, which is what the vet suspects, was that this was a very young mom, probably really stressed, in an environment that was very loud. She gave birth inside of a music radio station. And they're not exactly sure how long Mama was gone, or how long it had been since she left the kittens. When the lady that works there found them, she didn't touch them. She kind of left that room and left them alone. And she said she gave it about 2 hours to see if Mama would come back for them. Mama did not come back for them. And when they were at the point of really screaming, she finally went in and gathered them up and brought them over to Saint. And the lady from Saint took care of them that night, advertised, hey, I need someone that knows what they're doing. We need someone that's going to have the full time to take care of these little guys. And I let her know that, hey, I've done fostering through Needles. So she called Deanna through the Needles shelter to confirm information, sent me the application. I filled out the application to foster these guys, and she brought them up to me. And so she said that she was really thankful. They're going to continue looking for a mama cat to nurse them, but it was going to need to be a mama cat that literally just had babies, like within the day, because these guys were so tiny. Like, they were all about that big. Like, I could fit all 5 of them across my hand and hold them. And that's not normal. Like, you shouldn't be able to hold 5 kittens in your hand. At most 2, if they're a larger litter. You should be able to at least hold 2, and they should fill your hand up. But having 5 kittens in the palm of your hand is scary small. And so they definitely were, they were already had the odds in there against them. And I just felt like, oh my God, these poor babies. And Nikki let me know that she was having a lot of trouble getting Rigby and Jinx to eat, which were the 2 little tabbies. And so I still had trouble. Jinx was the one I had the most trouble with getting to eat, all the way till the morning that she passed. All the other kittens were doing good. Everybody was at 2 mLs of liquid, while Jinx was still way behind in getting only about 1.5 mLs, like right in that window. She was also the one that I was having a very hard time getting to produce a bowel movement. Everybody else was going to the bathroom with each feeding or every other feeding. But Jinx was the one that I could not get to go to the bathroom except for maybe every other feeding or more. And so those first 3 days were just really, really hard with them. Yeah, I hear you, Savannah. There's a lot of people that don't like cats. However, when you see something that's so tiny and so absolutely helpless, you can't help but, you know, have a piece of your heart feel really, like, really tugged at. Where are you going, Rigby? He's like, I'm not going over there. I'm going to go over there. And so right now, my biggest thing is I'm watching him closely. I'm giving him 2 hours between feedings, and getting him out, like moving him around, letting him wander a bit, you know, getting his little booty cleaned and getting him to go potty, then feeding him, and then trying to get him to go potty again, which usually results in a bowel movement at the end of his feeding. And then he kind of wanders about for a few minutes looking for a spot to lay down. Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. I guess you could say I'm both. I love both cats and dogs. I like dogs for the fact that you've got a companion you can go jogging with, you can go hiking with, you can take them with you to go do things. I love the companionship of a cat in the sense that cats are you keep their litter box clean, make sure that they've got food and water, and they'll be affectionate with you. And like Bella will lay here with me all night, curl up next to me on the bed, and just be totally chill. You guys, hold on. I want to see if you can even see him right now. Oh, there he is. Can you say hi? Can you tell everybody hi? No, his eyes aren't open if you guys are wondering. Hold on, let me see if I can get the flashlight on with this thing. Hold on. There you go. There you go. You say hi? He's an active little guy. Where you going? Where you going, Mr. Rigby? As you can see, he's able to climb out and over this thing now. So I watch him closely because he likes to get loose. Where you going, little buddy? Come on, back in. So I try to keep him inside of there for now. And that disc right there is what I was talking about. That's the heating disc. He loves his heating disc. And he's definitely a little mover and a shaker. As you can see, he's definitely getting a lot stronger. Like I said, he's now at about what a newborn kitten would be, like a one-day-old kitten would be. So that's been, like, that's my biggest thing, is getting him through this first week of being a preemie. We'll hopefully be able to, get him through this. So lots and lots of positive vibes, guys. Lots of positive. Yeah, he is. Isn't he adorable? I feel really bad because Nikki, who was the one that was taking care of them the first 24 hours, she really wanted to keep Stevie. And they even, like, his name was Stevie for the litter purposes. And then they wanted to change his name when they got him to Tux, because he was a little black and white tuxedo kitten. Are you just falling over?
I found it.
You got it, mister. You got it. So I felt really bad when I messaged her at 6 o'clock this morning to tell her that Stevie had passed. And she was already aware. The vet had already told her the same thing, which was, don't hold out too much hope for the whole litter. They are extremely tiny and very premature. And to just, be ready for the worst. And so she was already prepared that we were probably going to lose the whole litter. And out here, like if we were somewhere like in Las Vegas, I know that some of like the Vegas clinics and stuff have incubators and like the ability to maybe put these guys on something intravenous. Even with how tiny they are, they may have been able to figure out something. But out here, they just don't have the means for stuff like that. And the closest clinic that we can get to in emergencies is 45 minutes from us. And they just don't have the equipment. And we had several, like we called 4 different vet offices that are around here. And the first 3 were just like, well, there's nothing we can do. And wouldn't even see them. And then North Valley was like, bring them in, let us take an observation, let us get a little bit of blood work on them, and let's see there may be something genetic. At first, the vet thought, when she did the first look at the girls, which had already passed, she thought that it was for sure something genetic in the beginning, because it was only the females that were affected, and the 2 boys were strong and moving around, even though very small. She said she knew immediately, like she said, don't get me wrong, I knew immediately that these babies were premature. Just at visual sight of them, that they were way smaller than full-term kittens should be. So that was already something she knew right from the jump. She said, but she suspected that it was something genetic. The 2 of the girls had blood in their mouths, and I had described like that 2 of the girls, Jinx and Boogie, had both had what I thought looked like sort of like a seizure episode just before they went into fading out. And so she said that when that happens with fading kitten syndrome, their blood sugar drops, they're not processing things like they're supposed to, everything kind of slows down. They were being kept very warm, so they weren't hypothermic, which can also lead to things like that. So they're all kept very warm. So she said once a kitten develops fading kitten syndrome, it's really, really, really difficult unless there's absolutely like somebody who can get them right away to get fluids pushed, to get, you know, whatever else done. But once it kicks in, it's really, really difficult to save them from it, to pull them back. Now, if they were older kittens, usually about, you know, 2 and 3 weeks old, because you can have kittens develop fading kitten syndrome up to 4 weeks of age. So he's not out of the window until he hits his 4-week mark, where he can start weaning and going on to food. Until that time, because right about 3 weeks is when they can start regulating their body, which is why you see kittens start to wander and move around on their own. He's moving around, of course, because there's no kittens in there with him, so he's looking for that group to huddle with, which is super sad. That's gonna make me cry. So he's wandering a lot in there because he doesn't have his group of kittens to settle down with. So he's looking for that huddle. So that's why I put the heating pad where I did, so that he's got the cushions on the side. So he usually falls asleep right in the cushion crease, so that he feels a little more like guarded. So that's the hardest part right now, is the fact that he doesn't have a group. But that's why kittens under 4 weeks old always huddle together when they sleep. It's for body temperature, for keeping warm. Gypsy's issue was Gypsy never stayed put. Like, you couldn't keep her with the group. You always found Gypsy completely separate from the group, sleeping on the plain blanket instead of at the heating source. And so I had to keep moving her and keep moving her. When I went to sleep the night that she died, she had already passed before I woke up. So when I woke up, she was already gone. And then Jinx went about 3 hours later, and then an hour later, Boogie ended up having her episode, and she lived, though, after her episode. Like, Jinx died within minutes of having her episode, but Boogie lived 3 hours past that. She was taken into the vet. She passed away after arriving there, and so there's nothing they could do. So Stevie was doing great. The vet checked him over, said he looked great, but that don't hold out a whole lot of hope because of how premature they are. But to do what I've been doing, keep them warm, keep them fed, make sure they're going potty. They were. Both boys were doing great until Stevie wasn't. And it was a very rapid decline very quickly. And even if we had gotten a hold of the vet at that time and got him into the car and headed down there, he would have passed by the time we made it there. Because he went in a very short window as well. So we just got to keep Boogie, positive vibes for Boogie, or for Rigby, not Boogie, Rigby. They picked up Stevie this afternoon, took him to All Pets Go to Heaven. The All Pets Go to Heaven picked up the girls from the vet clinic, and then they came and picked up Stevie from here, so that way they could all be together in their little urn. So they'll be cremated together as a litter and put together, and then Saints will keep that urn at their facility. So he asked if they wanted us to wait in case Rigby didn't make it. They said no, because we want to make sure, like, we want to keep that hope that he's going to survive. And so the people at All Pets said what they'll do is they'll wait a few days to cremate the other kittens, just in case. So this way, if something should happen, he can be put with his siblings. But right now, we're going to hold out hope that he's going to do good. And I won't be sleeping tonight, so I have the coffee pot set up. I'm going to stay awake all night with him. I'm going to be working with him all night. And Sarah goes to work tomorrow, and so I will be keeping very vigilant with this little guy to make sure that you know, any symptom or any sign, I can catch it right away. We don't have a clinic here that is open long enough, or if they are, the vet doesn't, like, only comes in on an emergency basis, which can take up to an hour for them to get there. So we're kind of stuck in a situation where if anything goes wrong with him, he probably won't make it. Even if we got him to the vet, it would be still waiting for the vet to get there. So it wouldn't look good for him. But as of right now, he has gained weight from when we first got him here. When we first got them here, each of the kittens was just under an ounce in weight. That's tiny. He is now just above 2 ounces in weight. So he's a tiny little guy. And so that's good because he is gaining weight. The other ones were still very small, just over an ounce in weight. So right now he's growing, and that's a positive. So lots of positive vibes, you guys. Just so many positive vibes. If you pray, do prayer. But he's a special little something, and he's a little fighter. I give him that. He is full of spunk, and he's a little fighter. So I'm gonna definitely keep my eyes on him all night. Like, I've literally got him sitting right here in front of me, inside of his cage, because I'm not letting him out of my sight. I went down to do dishes and set up prepping for dinner stuff and whatnot earlier, and I took him with me in the critter carrier. Thank you to Allie. If you see this, Allie, thank you so much for the critter carrier you got us a couple of years ago, for Brady, and it's come in handy. It's definitely come in handy, and my phone is acting like it's gonna, can I have that, please? My phone's acting like it's gonna die. Hold on, let me slide you guys this way a bit. I don't know why it's doing that, but there we go. I knew that was gonna happen. Oop. There we go. So thank you, Allie, for the critter carrier. That is, that came in handy today. While I got dishes and everything done, I kept him right up next to me with the little heated bag of rice. Or I should say a heated sock of rice, because it's a sock with rice heated up. So when I'm moving around with him, he's got the heated sock to keep him nice and warm. Though he is a wiggle worm, he loves to wiggle around and move around. But the more he's wiggling around and moving around for me right now is a good thing. Hold on, guys, I'll be right back. Oh, no. Oh, I know what it is. I'm like, what is that noise? It's just the steamer letting out the steam for the chicken. I was like, what is that noise? Godric, leave it alone. But yeah, so I ended up having to put Denali in her kennel because I had the stuff sitting right here, and I had a second sock. That way I can alternate the socks. And Denali grabbed the sock off the bed, and I tried to get it from her, and she grabbed it and ripped it. And so rice went everywhere. So I don't have a vacuum, and it wouldn't do good on this carpet anyway because it would eat up this carpet. So I have to pick it all up with a small little dustpan and broom. So that's fun. She's a character, let me tell you what. One of the things we've noticed is she's extremely curious about the kitty. We don't let her anywhere near the kitten, though. As anybody knows, when you're fostering something so young, you got to keep the other pets away. Just like, I know that Bella and them are all vaccinated and everything, but I won't let her anywhere near the kitten because of the fact that she does go outside. And I don't want her, whatever she's exposed to, being exposed to the kittens. I haven't been, this is going to sound mean, but I haven't pet on Bella. I haven't loved on her because I didn't want stuff on my hands. And I've been using a lot of hand sanitizer and soap. My skin is super dry from constantly washing my hands to keep him safe, to keep the litter safe, but definitely as of now too, to keep Rigby very safe. So that's always fun. And then we're gonna move the RV tonight. I'm moving the RV tonight. So I'm gonna go down there here in just a few minutes and go move it. I'm gonna be selling the RV. you guys. So if anybody's curious, I got to go down there and I got to put the spare on and move the back one to the front.
Remember the sex is it took us forever to find the tires for our specific car.
I know, but I know where to get another one, so that's good. And I could probably get it for, I know, but I could probably get it for the $30 like I did before. It'll be a used car. I mean, a used car. A used car. It'll be a used tire, but it would be better than having the donut on there the whole time. So we're going to, yeah. He's doing good. He just finally fell asleep. So watching him like a hawk. Yeah, I know. I've got the coffee pot ready because I am going to be drinking coffee all night to stay awake all night. I'm not going to sleep. I don't blame you. Getting literally only 4 hours a week is not worth it. Hey guys, okay, there's 11 of you in here. Let me ask you a question. If you worked a job and your job found out about your medical condition and they chopped your hours to only 4 hours a week, right? Gave you 1 day a week for 4 hours. That's it. After they worked you 11 days straight, you busted your butt, you came in whenever they called, and then they found out that you had seizures and they chopped your hours completely out. Would you stay with the company? Would you stay working there? I told Sarah to stay with them right now until she finds another job, and when she gets accepted at the other job, put in her 2 weeks with this one, because you should never leave one job unless you've got a backup. So right now she's literally the last 3 weeks. This will be week 3. She's had 1 day a week, and it's only been 4 hours each time. So that's not even a. Leslie said, "Hell no." Jeffrey, oh hell no. It's definitely not worth it. Yeah, and get this.
So I work from 5 to close tomorrow.
Yeah, that's 4.5 hours.
But I work till close.
I know. So then that means I gotta drive down there at night to pick you up. But here's the kicker, you guys.
And Jim
they didn't keep her.
Right.
They didn't keep her at the closest store to us. They sent her to the store that is a little over half an hour's drive away. So so do the math. I drive a half hour there, drive a half hour back home. Drive a half hour there to pick her up at night, and drive a half hour back home. That's 2 hours, a little over 2 hours of driving. That's already a quarter tank of gas going that far, right? Hi, Sarah. Wow, that's ridiculous. That's what Jeffrey said. So I'm driving over 2 hours. The 1 day a week, it takes a quarter tank of gas to do that. And then that's literally about what her check comes out to, is she works for 8 hours to make enough gas money to pay gas to go and work 8 hours again. That's not, she can't even pay her phone bill with that. Like, what?
It's called, what's it
Life's Next Step. Life's Next Step. Yeah. So definitely annoying. And wow, does my face look super skinny right now. I won't tell you guys that I've lost more weight, I promise. Don't give me that. I've been trying to eat. You know that. I ate the gumbo earlier. Well, I ate part of my gumbo earlier and then got caught up trying to take care of little man. So then I didn't actually eat all my gumbo. I ate like 5 bites. She's gonna kick my butt. But yeah. And then of course when you're stressed, it doesn't help. And I'm trying not to be. Because this isn't my first rodeo, you guys, with fostering. And I know, believe it or not, when you foster such young babies, unless you've done it, you have no idea. Unless you've actually done it, you don't realize that there is more, there's a higher, mortality rate than there is kittens that survive. So you lose more than you save when it comes to litters. Even if you can get to the litter in time, it's really difficult. And that goes for puppies too. We got super lucky with the 3 puppies, the Disney litter, when we bottle fed them. We got very, very lucky that every single one of them was a very vicarious, very lively pup. All of 3 of them were very driven to survive, which was really a plus. So, and that is not the norm. That is a very rare thing. The next set that came in the following year, I worry about you not getting any sleep though, but I know you're watching the little. Yeah, hi Grant, Jeffrey. That's the thing is, so far each time that one of them has died,
What are you doing?
other than Boogie, and other than Boogie, everybody else. Gypsy died while I was asleep, and then Jinx was already in a bad state when I got up. And then same thing happened with Boogie as I was awake. And then Stevie went into Fading Kitten while I was asleep. So by the time I woke up, he was already past the point of survival. This little guy is just a wiggle bot. He's sleeping, but he's like with his little paws. He's so cute. So I know that not sleeping is crazy thought, but you also have to remember I suffer with insomnia. So even when I do doze off, like what I did last night when I dozed off, I woke up again anyway, less than an hour later, and he was already in a bad state. And so I know that falling asleep so far seems to be the little cursed thing. So what are you guys doing? Winnie Bear, could you stop? You're opening up the curtain and allowing all the heat in. Leave it. So it's just been one of those things where I know by being awake and watching him, watching his breathing, watching his body movements, watching his little twitches, all those things, and me touching him, and if I can get a reaction the minute I touch him, it are all signs that he is staying with us. Kittens, when mama climbs in or out, as soon as she touches them with a slight touch, they immediately perk up. And that's what you want to see. They will go back to sleep pretty quickly, but you want to see a reaction the minute you give them a little touch. And so that's like one of the biggest things. He's so cute. Oh, it's a big yawn. Hold on. He's got to get comfy again. He's like, give me a minute. He stretched. He's all yawned really big and then got up and did a little circle and now plopped back down. I feel bad though, you guys, because he doesn't have his litter anymore to cuddle up with. Yeah, we had puppies that were we called them the Disney group, the Disney litter, and they were Maui, Hercules, and Elsa. Maui's doing so. Did you see that he won a puppy award? He won an award for Puppy of the Year here in Bullhead during a photo contest. Because she asked me if I had any photos of Maui, and I sent her that one I took of Maui sitting on the blue blanket looking up at me like all cute with his long ears, and she submitted that, and it won Puppy of the Year.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. And then Elsa and Herc, or Angel and Elsa, because they still kept her Elsa, but Angel and Elsa. Elsa is extremely, extremely aggressive. She's a very aggressive girl. But Angel he's come out of that after they got his neuter done. He was really like, ooh, don't touch me. I don't like nobody. He was like, you all are crazy. And then he was fine after that. And he's now a cuddle bug, loves attention. But she's like one of your typical like Chihuahua behavior, where like if you sit with her on the couch and somebody else comes up next to you, she's gonna tear them apart. That's her attitude, which I find kind of funny because she was like that when they were with us as well. She was like the really feisty one of the group, which was, yeah, that was just Elsa, and so it was something else, let me tell you. So she's still just as spunky and just as like bitey as she was when she was with us. It's funny too when you see puppies or even kittens as their little personalities start to show. You can see a real big difference in personalities from the time that they're very little. Which is why it made me sad with this group, because Gypsy was definitely a little independent go-getter. Like, she was super independent. Yeah. And then you had Jinx, who was really mellow, kind of real quiet, really, like, she was just really, really, like, just not the spunkiest of the group. But that could have been just because she was not doing so good. Boogie was definitely, her name fit her, a little boogie butt. She boogied around. She was always, like, pushing everybody else over, wanted to be, like, bottom of the pile, wanted to be the warmest of the group. And then you had Stevie, who was the loudest of the group. Like, when it was time to eat, he let you know he was eating first, no matter what. He was, loud. And then you had Mr. Rigby here, who will meow when he's hit his point of, like, hey, I'm hungry. But now that he's by himself, like, I'm catching him before he gets to that point of being frustrated of hunger. So I'm catching him first, but when I start to clean his butt and get him to go to the bathroom, he lets me know, like, hey, stop that. But it has to be done. Like, Mama would do the same thing. She would be licking them and encouraging them to go to the bathroom while they nurse. So it's a must do to get them to go to the bathroom, or you end up with a kitten that ends up constipated, which can kill them. So bathroom little issues when they go potty, it's so important that you watch for that when you're handling infant kittens, because you gotta make sure they're going every single time you feed them. So yeah, but I would have loved to have seen how their personalities would have developed. Would Gypsy be your typical standoffish cat that was like, don't mess with me, I'm a diva? I think she would have been. I think that Stevie would have been an in-your-face, I'm the cat, you're gonna love me, you're gonna pay attention to me, you're gonna notice me. That would have been his attitude. I think that Jinx would have been more of a mellow, sweet, kind of off to the side kind of kitty, more like quiet like Bella is. And I think that Boogie would have been your absolutely playful kitten, the one that would have chased toys and played with the string, and if you gave her a ball of yarn, she would be tangled in it in minutes. That's the type of personalities I saw coming out of them. I think Rigby's kind of a really rounded one. I know, right, Grant? But I think Rigby's going to be like a real fair share of all of that. I think he lets you know when he needs something. I'm also staying proactive with him, so hopefully he's not going to fade on me. And I think that he is going to love toys. He's very spunky. He loves to just adventure around, and I don't let him venture too much because, one, you want him moving because you want him to move his bowels around, which is really important. With Mama, she would be licking them and encouraging them and moving them around, and she'd push them away from her to make them work their way back towards her, just because that's really good for their digestion. Grant says, hey, Sarah, how are you doing?
Oh, fabulous.
She's great, actually. She's playing GTA with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
You guys aren't killing each other again, are you? Or messing up your vehicle?
Me and him don't ever kill each other.
That's you and Neil.
That's me and Neil. No, me and him don't kill each other unless we have bounties.
Yeah. But yeah. You didn't need to know that? Need to know what? That she's online playing GTA with her boyfriend? That's just life. That's what she's doing right now. So this little guy. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, yeah, I keep messing with him and checking on him. This is kind of that witching hour that I'm terrified of, because each of the kittens did really well at this hour and were super spunky and, vivacious and ready for things. And then the next feeding from this one was the one where I would really have to watch. And it just gets scary at this point because now it's nighttime. It's cooling off. I'm like, is it warm enough? And, is he got everything he needs? I'm just on top of it. And Tonight is going to be terrifying for me. You guys, I'm not even kidding. Oh, you're jealous because you don't have a girlfriend yet. Well, she's actually dating someone that they actually know. Like, you know him, like, from town. Like, they went to school. Like, I think this is, like, what, like, your fourth, like, local person that she's dated. But I just have to say, this guy is awesome. One, he's super freaking polite. Two, he's got amazing freaking manners. Like, amazing manners, and I love that. And he did the classic asking someone out on a date. You don't get that anymore, like, at all. You do not get guys that are like, you know what, why don't we get together and actually, like, let's go have a lunch. He actually packed a lunch for them. Like, they had a real little lunch date at the park. Like, what? How freaking amazing and sweet is that? Because you don't find that anymore. Like, you just don't find that anymore. You get people. I'm giving him all the props in the world right now. I'm just, like, literally buttering him all up on here. But you don't find that anymore. Like, you don't find, like, genuinely good-hearted, like, people that actually, like, ask people out and go those steps to take someone out. So props to him. Just props to him on that. I'm not going to quit, Grant, because I am, as a mom, that means something when somebody does the proper steps.
Wait, what?
He said, quit, Marie. So, just, I'm going to speak about how proud I am as a mom that my daughter has a boyfriend in her life that is super polite and super, like, has super amazing manners. I know, but it bothers Sarah when people come across as rude. So anyway, I'm definitely going to pipe him up. And I think you said he's in my stream right now. Is he watching? Hi. I'm not going to say his name on camera right now, but you know who you are. This guy walking with this Donna sent me a message. So, Squish. We'll call him Squish. Hi, Squish. But yeah, so now I gotta go and grab the laundry from downstairs, put the sheets in, because I gotta wash those, and I gotta go move the RV. Because I haven't finished getting everything, like all of the stuff. Darksider. Hi, how are ya? I gotta go just move the RV. I'm gonna unload the last couple of bits. It's me. Oh, it's you. Hi. Hi, Squish. So I gotta go move the RV. I'm just not looking forward to moving it. One, because I gotta pull, like, whatever else is laying around in there down onto the floor. Taylor's doing good. We do not know what date his separation is, but it is official. He is officially being chaptered out. So we'll see what happens from there. He's under the impression, from what they've told him, I don't know the whole ins and outs, but that once he's out, he has to wait 6 months before he can reapply and go into the Air Force. And he wants to cross over to the Air Force. The funny part for him is that he'll have to redo boot camp, because Air Force boot camp is different than Army boot camp. So he will have to reapply, retest, and I've got something stuck on me, to see if he qualifies. Oh my gosh, can you get off me? My hair is everywhere. Yeah, Leslie, he's really nice. He actually came by here yesterday and spent a few hours here. They watched, what was it? Oh, they watched Poltergeist? No. Splice. And then you guys left and went outside while Poltergeist played. By the way, Sarah missed it. The little girl in Poltergeist, if you guys have ever watched the movie Poltergeist, the little girl in the first movie, I looked exactly like her as a little girl. People used to think, when I was in school, when I was 6 and 7 years old, they thought I was that little girl. I had the bangs and everything. But, sad story, the little girl in Poltergeist, her own dad, her own father killed her in real life. So, it's a different little girl playing in the next movie. though she looks very similar. It's a different child. But yeah, when I was little, a lot of people thought that I was the little girl from Poltergeist. You know who else people thought I looked like when I was younger and when my hair was at its craziest? Everybody thought that I looked or could be related to the little girl that played Stephanie Tanner on Full House. The one that was like, how rude. So if you've ever watched Full House with when they were little, not Fuller House, but Full House, the original, it's the one that plays the middle child, Stephanie. Everybody thought that I looked so much like her, which is super funny because when I look back at pictures of me as a little girl, I totally see it. I have one picture where I'm sitting down at a table and I'm eating a banana. Like I'm holding the banana in my hand. And I literally look just like her when she's sitting at the table in the one episode and I don't remember what it was she's eating, but she's holding this big object. I think it was a burrito. And she was like, she didn't know what she was supposed to do with all this food. Hi, Chris. And so I looked so much like her when I was little. But definitely I looked a lot like the little girl from Poltergeist. I think roughly she would be about my age now if she had lived. But yeah. And it's funny now when I watch that movie how corny the effects are in that movie. Like back in the day, I loved it. Like I've always been someone who really liked horror movies and scary movies, and I'm not a big fan of gore because it's just gross. There's nothing in a gore movie that's scary. It's just really nasty. To me, it's like so disgusting. There's nothing terrifying about it. It's just gross. Like the Saw movies, those aren't scary because one, they're just psychotically stupid, but they're disgusting. Like so disgusting. It just makes you go, who would think to write something like this? You need to watch Harry Potter more often. Oh gosh, we love the Harry Potter movies. Though I'm kind of like fighting myself when it comes to it. Like I already own the movies, so we're gonna watch them anyway because it doesn't promote any further support of a certain somebody. I'm not gonna get into political stuff right now, and I'm not gonna get into gender equality and stuff like that. Though, let me just put one thing out there. I don't care what your gender preference is, and I don't care whether you are LGBTQIA, whatever. I can tell you this much: you are loved. You are equal in my eyes. You are welcome within this community. And that is that. You are who you say you are, and you should be loved for who you are, no matter what. It is nobody else's place to judge at all. The only thing that can judge you, and if you are a firm believer in the good book, is the man upstairs. That's it. Nobody else has a right to judge you for your choices whatsoever. And you are loved in this community. So personally by me and my daughter, you are loved. That being said, the person who I'm speaking of support-wise for the Harry Potter series, I do not support in that way. And so I can tell you I will not buy any further Harry Potter products because I do not want to spend anything that's going to send monetary gain to that person. But I will continue to watch the series because it holds a special spot for us when it comes to family-wise. We did an entire series. Thank you, Grant, and yes, to the community. I did an entire Harry Potter reading series that we took down because, of course, there was a huge issue with like monetizing. We didn't want to monetize it anyway. I didn't have them monetized, but they got copyright striked, so you couldn't actually play them, so I had to remove them. So that was taken down. Really bummed out about it. I still have all the recordings for us, but definitely bummed out about it. I'm shedding all over myself.
Oh my God, come off.
I have so much hair ever. The other day, what was it? We were in the car. I had my hair completely pulled up in a bun. We get in the car and Sarah sits down and ends up with a piece of my hair stuck to her lip. somehow. How, we don't know. I was like, it's in a bun. I had my hair in a bun and it still managed to get on her. My hair is horrible, you guys. So, like this horrible, look at this rat's nest. Look at this. Look at this. Look. And this is after I literally just washed this. See what I'm talking about? Like some of these are like pin straight, some of these are curly. Hi, Samantha. Oh, that's awesome, Grant. Thank you, though. But yeah, so. Hi, sweet boy. Oh, he's so cute. He keeps getting up and going in a circle and then laying back down. Oh my goodness, that was the cutest stretch I've ever seen. He like pushed his arm straight down next to his body and went. He's laying like this right now. With his arms straight down by his sides. He's on his back sleeping, by the way. He's got his butt, though, up on the heating pad. So he's like, his booty's in the air and his head's down here. And he's on his back. Kittens sleep in some of the weirdest positions, even in the litter. Like when the whole litter's together and you'll see one kitten's like all flopped over sideways while the other two are laying on top of it with one underneath. They're like, how? Good stretch. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, why is he so cute? I think he's so cute. I've said this before in other videos. I think the reason why kittens and like puppies and baby animals are so flipping cute because it makes you naturally have a desire to protect them. You have a desire to keep them safe. Just like babies, like actual human babies, whenever you hear anything happen to a human child, it enrages you because you just have this natural want to protect them. My mom thinks about Tennessee or North Carolina or Florida. My family needs. How would I help you? How would I help you move? I don't understand how that would be anything that I could possibly do. So, I mean, all those places sound great, but it'll be family preference, I guess. Oh yeah, I've seen every Stephen King movie. It's so okay. That movie is one that okay, the book is great. Okay, the book is great. And Jack Nicholson, I think it's Jack Nicholson. Yeah, Jack Nicholson in that movie is pretty freaking crazy good, right? I think is it Jack Nicholson? Yeah, it's Jack Nicholson in that movie. He's crazy good in that movie. However, the whole movie as a whole just was disappointing. There's so many, but then again, in that time when they made it, I think if they remade The Shining now, like if they remade the movie now, that movie could be terrifying. Because the book is terrifying. Yawning right now. Go to sleep. The Shining book is like when you read it, your heart palpitates. Like it is like the scariest thing. But when you watch the movie, it's kind of like the woman they had play his wife in that movie was annoying, to say the least. Extremely annoying, because she is not portrayed that way in the book. And the son is portrayed a lot scarier in the book than he is in the movie. In the movie, he just kind of seems like the most annoying kid in the world. Like you just want to tell him, stop it, shut up, sit in, or sit him in a timeout, or stick him in another room, because you're just like, ugh, shush. In the book, though, he's so creepy. The kid comes across so creepy in the book. But the movie, that one was kind of one of those, like, you either hit it or you miss it, and they missed it. What? Oh, nice. But you want to hear a good one, they did a really good job with, is The Stand, if you can sit through it. The Stand book takes forever to read. And you really have to be mentally prepared to read The Stand. But the movie is, I think, just over 4 hours long, and it's one of those things you walk away from going, this could really happen. This could actually happen. Like, this could be a real thing, and it terrifies you. The Langoliers was a good book. They did good with the movie, but it was corny as well. Like, it was pretty corny. But if you read the book, you have a little more preface to why and what they are. It's a sense of time catching up. Here's Johnny. Yeah. Yeah, the Langoliers is about trying to catch back up to their own time. Like, somehow they were morphed into a different time. Switch one Tennessee or North Carolina, switch one Florida. My mom really, really wants have barn and have internet for my dad. Homework. Let me. Family is moving. Oh, so your family is moving. Okay. Well, you have to let me know where you guys end up. What? I'm getting creeping? Okay, I don't know what that means, Grant, but okay. But yeah, and then there was another movie that we watched. I think it's either The Fog or The Mist. I think it's The Mist. Oh, you're getting creeped out? We watched that movie, and Sarah and we watched that one together. That movie is super creepy, and then it was like so sad. The ending of that movie is so sad. I think it's The Mist.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say what happens if you haven't seen it. You should definitely see it. But the ending of that movie, it was not even scary. Like, the movie itself is terrifying. The end of that movie is so damn sad. I was like, no. Just literally just a minute or two more is all they needed. That was so sad. Oh yeah, I've seen the older version and the newer version, and let me just tell you what. I prefer the older version of the movie with the newer version of the ending of it. Like, the way that they did the ending on the newer version, I liked better than the old style. The old style, they used this wonky, weird spider, like, that was so badly produced. But for its time, it was good. But when you watch it now, you just go, what the heck? That's so bad. I mean, they did a better job with Aragorn in Aragog in Harry Potter than they did on the spider from It. But yeah, the original movie It, they had this big, goofy, weird spider ending. Whereas the new movie It was definitely I like that portrayal of the monster better than I like the original. But I did not like the way that they did the movie the new time around. I think Pennywise looked absolutely absurdly ridiculous. And the first original one, he was way creepier. Yeah, but that's a good movie. But yeah, the original version, Pennywise comes across way creepier. Because he still portrays your classic clown, like your actual classic clown look, which back in that day, kids loved clowns and they weren't as scary per se. You saw them at the circuses, every weekend, and you saw them when they came through town when the circuses or the fairs came through. The clowns were a part of it. People just weren't as terrified of clowns. And then, so he came across still like very intriguing for a child, but still super creepy. Empire's a good series. But then the new Pennywise, like, no clown dresses like that, for one. Because you're not luring anybody in looking like that. Definitely not a child. And so the whole point of It was to have that lure, that friendliness, that thing that children want to do. Children were drawn in by clowns and the funness that a clown looked like. So that's what made it creepier. This one, the clown is already so creepy. What child would go with him? What child would be intrigued to follow him? None. None. There isn't a child in this world that would look at Pennywise, the new version, and go, "Ooh, my best friend." No. So I think they kind of messed that up. But then again, I could go on and on about scary movies. Just like a lot of the Rob Zombie movies, I like certain ones of his movies, but there's a huge gore factor in some of his movies that just make me go, eek.
I didn't leave you. I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Nice. But yeah. I love that he's just so stretchy and like he's like stretching and, you know, wiggling around. He might be getting ready to wake up for more food. What time is it? Yeah, it's time for me to go make him another set of formula. So I'm gonna get off here, you guys, because it's time to get this little guy fed and get our dinner finished. So I got to get the rice made and then mix the chicken, the rice, and the cream of chicken together. Samantha said, "Hi, Sarah." So she said, so you guys, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go get this little dude some food. I'm going to get ready to feed him. And you guys are awesome. Stay fantastic. And lots of love to you guys. And please, everybody, send all the positive vibes this way for Mr. Rigby. Like, send him all the positive vibes. Benjamin said, "Hi, Sarah." So you guys are fantastic. Keep lifting Rigby up, that he will pull through all this and that we will have a healthy, playful kitten in a couple of weeks from now, who will be ready to adventure into the world. You guys, my heart is already pounding at the thought of tonight. So you guys are fantastic, and we'll see you guys in the next video.